Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we learn from St. Augustine, Doctor of the Church, while we read his book, Confessions. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. We are coming down to the end of Book 11. Only a few more readings to go. We are reading today from Book 11, Chapter 28, on page 277. But how can the future be diminished or absorbed when it does not yet exist? And how can the past increase when it no longer exists? It can only be that the mind which regulates this process performs three functions, those of expectation, attention, and memory. The future, which it expects, passes through the present, to which it attends, into the past, which it remembers. No one would deny that the future does not yet exist, or that the past no longer exists. Yet in the mind there is both expectation of the future and remembrance of the past. Again, no one would deny that the present has no duration, since it exists only for the instant of its passage. Yet the mind's attention persists, and through it, that which is to be passes towards the state in which it is to be no more. So it is not future time that is long, but a long future is a long expectation of the future, and past time is not long because it does not exist, but a long past is a long remembrance of the past. Suppose that I am going to recite a psalm that I know. Before I begin, my faculty of expectation is engaged by the whole of it. But once I have begun, as much of the psalm as I have removed from the province of expectation and relegated it to the past now engages my memory, and the scope of the action which I am performing is divided between the two faculties of memory and expectation, the one looking back to the part which I have already recited, the other looking forward to the part which I have still to recite. But my faculty of attention is present all the while, and through it passes what was the future in the process of becoming the past. As the process continues, the province of memory is extended in proportion as that of expectation is reduced, until the whole of my expectation is absorbed. This happens when I have finished my recitation, and it has all passed into the province of memory. What is true of the whole psalm is also true of all its parts and of each syllable. It is true of any longer action in which I may be engaged, and of which the recitation of the psalm may only be a small part. It is true of a man's whole life, of which all his actions are parts. It is true of the whole history of mankind, of which each man's life is a part. If I was to describe my parents to you, one of the things I would touch on is how my parents view time. And what do I mean by that? Well, my dad loves to reminisce. He's a person that feels nostalgic over a lot of things. He has great stories to tell from his past, and I love listening to them. It's actually amazing how much he remembers from the past. Through my dad, I've gotten a good understanding of what life was like growing up in the 60s and 70s. My mom is the complete opposite. If she remembers much from the past, she doesn't really share it unless you really probe her for something. She's definitely more forward-thinking. When something has happened, it's happened, and it's in the past. She's always thinking one step ahead, foreseeing how things could be, and anticipating things. Now, growing up, my dad would let me sit and ruminate over something. Like if something bad happened, he would let me talk it out, relive the past, all that kind of stuff. My mom was like, it happened, time to move on. It kind of seems like those roles would be reversed, but not for my parents. I feel like I kind of got the best of both worlds. I did have the opportunity to work stuff out and talk about it. And with my dad, I can reminisce about the past and bring up funny stories and all that. But if I was staying stuck in the past with my mom, I just wasn't allowed to wallow, and I needed to move on, keep moving forward. For me, I think I took what both my parents taught me. I do love to pore over scrapbooks of the past, but I always recognize that I need to live in the present moment and make it count, hoping and planning for a good future. As we have seen with St. Augustine, you can't go back to the past. The present is always moving into the past, and the future is yet to come. So where does that leave us? Just in that ever-stretching motion of time that we experience on this path through life. That is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here soon, and until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.